I've been a Halo fan since I was 9 years old, and I pulled an all-nighter finishing Halo 3's campaign at a friend's house. It was because of this game that I asked for an Xbox 360 for my birthday, and well, the rest is history. So why has it taken me so long to talk about Halo Infinite, which I'm extremely excited for, by the way? Well, to be blunt, I don't really know how to voice my opinions on this game. Ever since 343 Industries has taken over Halo, I've sort of fallen out of the community. I haven't had that same feeling of playing an actual Halo game since Halo Reach. But this new installment looks to change everything we've believed about 343 as a company for the last 7 years. I was much more disappointed with Halo 5 than with Halo 4. Halo 4 not being the Halo game I wanted was to be expected. In fact, in retrospect, they probably did a better job for their first installment than my 13-year-old self gave them credit for. At the time, I was just mad I wasn't shooting at the Covenant, and the campaign didn't end in another Warthog run. But Halo 5 was supposed to be a game that was past its growing pains. The marketing for this title was probably some of the best the series has ever seen. Hunt the Truth was alluring. I listened to the podcasts, broke down the trailers, and saved up money to buy an Xbox One just so I could play it. Halo was back. But Halo 5 didn't turn out to be what anyone thought it would be, and not in a good way. Upon launch, the player was met with the worst campaign in the series, subjectively, but I think most people share my opinion. There was no conflict between Locke and Chief like we were promised, just a 20-second cutscene depicting them skirmishing before they part ways and eventually ally with each other. And to pour an ocean's worth of salt into an already tender wound, the player would be shocked to find that they spent 80% of the campaign not playing as the Master Chief, a decision seeming unfathomable. So if you're a Halo fan and you're like me, you're probably tired. Tired of this new generation of Halo games which admittedly do have their fans, I'm just not one of them. This is why I believe Halo Infinite is a crucial title to serve as the second episode of my What If series, where I talk about an impending controversial game title such as Halo Infinite. Now, I should clear one thing up. I don't believe Microsoft has any intention to rid themselves of the Halo franchise anytime soon, no matter how this next installment is received. Halo is still a cash cow. Although it's not a titan of the gaming industry anymore, it's still a reliable shooter that'll at least turn a profit reliably year after year. But this next game represents the railroad spike that's driven itself through the Halo community, cutting it in half, and this game seems to be aimed at bridging the gap. I think we all were speechless after seeing the Halo Infinite teaser for the first time at E3. The visuals didn't seem to represent anything remotely close to a Halo game for the first 30 seconds or so, just imagery that was vaguely familiar. The music set an ambiance of mystery and wonder, and it didn't resemble anything like a Halo game. It's not until BAM! Master Chief's classic green helmet fills the screen, the reflection of a warthog in his visor, and the Chief turns away silently and very characteristically. The bombastic music that is undeniably from a Halo game swells, filling our ears as a warthog is seen racing through a Halo installation with classic Covenant and Forerunner structures in the background. This trailer is undeniably great. But I remember being this excited based off of a trailer before. Yes, this time it does feel different. The return of the classic art style and musical score is promising, but none of us can confirm 100% that this Halo game will be what we've all been waiting for until we insert our game disc, or, let's be honest, it's 2018. Type the Microsoft Store code into our Xbox consoles and experience the title firsthand. It's funny. As I wrote the script for this video, I began to realize how much I love this franchise. For years, I thought I was outgrowing Halo in a way, but hearing my favorite composition from any Halo soundtrack, Never Forget from Halo 3, it still causes the hair on the back of my neck to rise. Something about the franchise has always kept me around, wanting more of what I love. Now, to clear something up again, I'm not just some nostalgic nerd who wants 343 to ship a carbon copy of an older Halo game to us and market it as something new. Remember earlier, I said there are still fans on both sides of the fence. And that's why I see this game as a possible compromise. Not everyone's going to love it, obviously, but although I think Halo's record-setting days are in the past, Halo Infinite can still easily be one of the most groundbreaking games yet. So, I believe one of two things could happen in the next installment, and it ends in either mostly positive reception from both parties, or mixed reviews and another railroad spike driven into the community, bringing in a new wave of controversy with it. I do believe that 343 is trying something different in this next Halo game and will change their formula drastically. So the first product could be a game that looks like a classic Halo game, but is missing something. Remember, 343 is obviously trying to make a great game. I believe this is a dev team filled with people who are genuinely passionate about making a great game. But just because the game looks like classic Halos of the past that we all love, doesn't mean its style and tone will match up. To be honest, I'm fine with that. My favorite Halo campaign is Halo 3's. In my opinion, it's bombastic and exciting. Halo 3's campaign was like an amusement park ride, constantly shifting gears and transporting the story all over the place, where you as a player get to do some pretty kick-ass things, such as lead a Warthog convoy through Salvo Highway, track the Covenant through the jungle, and of course, who could forget that epic Scarab mission? But I'm just one person, and my perfect Halo game is my perfect Halo game. Not everyone else is going to agree with the direction that I would take the series, but 343 has had nearly 3 years of feedback on their design at this point, and they've done a pretty good job of reassuring the community that they're actually listening to us. So 343 could finally hash out a middle ground that could come as close to perfect as possible. Scenario 2. 343 nails it. I imagine a Halo game that feels comfortable and yet familiar. Something fresh and exciting, somehow putting intelligent twists on the gameplay, satisfying both sides. For example, the movement system is still a sore spot in the Halo community. Many fans demand a return to classic Halo, where the Spartan you control feels chunky and heavy, yet undeniably powerful. Others seem to like 343's approach with advanced movement, where your Spartan suit is covered in tiny little jets, allowing you to traverse the digital terrain in a variety of ways. Gunfights are just a tad more urgent and fast-paced, requiring a knowledge of the new verticality the game presents. But in the world of happy mediums, I actually think back to Halo 4, which deviated from Halo's classic formula by adding permanent sprint and a slew of armor abilities. But only this time, they can allow for the player's feet to leave the ground just a little bit. Something to satisfy new players' hunger for airborne gameplay while remaining fairly grounded. These more nimble Spartans could feel more lightweight, but they hold less of a shield because of it, while those who lust after classic movement can serve as sluggish tanks that move around the map, and the game could be filled with these little compromises, the best of the old mixed with the best of the new. And all of this could be encompassed in a great Halo story that is wildly bombastic and entertaining, with a beautiful score, of course. But ultimately, I'm fairly optimistic about Halo Infinite. After all, this is a series that I want desperately to succeed. So, what do you guys think of the next Halo game? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. Until next time, this is Juniper, signing out.